Hello students, I am Dr. Tilakavati from Food Science and Nutrition Department of Avinashlingam University, and in this episode we are going to learn about the phytochemical components catechins and caffeines. Do you know what is catechin? The catechins are nothing but flavonoids which belong to the subgroup of flavonoids that is most widespread in nature. They are phytochemical compounds present in a variety of plant-based foods and beverages in high concentrations. Catechins are classified as flavonoids and they include the following compounds: catechins, epicatechin, epigalactocatechin gallate, epigalactocatechin, epicatechin gallates. Red wine, broad beans, cherries, black grapes, apricots are all rich sources of catechins. Apples, blackberries, broad beans, cherries, black grapes, pears, raspberries and chocolate have high concentrations of epicatechins. Both black and green tea are good sources of epigallocatechins. Coming to the objectives of this session, after learning this lesson, you will be able to understand the role of catechins and caffeine as flavonoids. Then identify the food sources of catechin and caffeine. Discuss the beneficial effect of catechins and caffeines. Students, how many types of catechins are there? I told you there are 5 types of catechins, and we came to understand that catechins are a type of phytochemical compounds. Then do you know what are phytochemical compounds? The phytochemical compounds are nothing but biologically active compounds naturally present in plants. Flavonoids is a phytochemical and has over 4,000 compounds with many potential health benefits. Catechin is one type of flavonoid present in some foods. It exists in several forms and all are potent antioxidants that help protect from potentially damaging chemicals called free radicals. Catechins are of 5 different types and all with a similar chemical structure that makes them able to stabilize free radicals. Free radicals are formed as byproducts of normal digestion or coming across environmental toxins like cigarette smoke or industrial pollution or by some other chemicals. Free radicals damage parts of cells including DNA and cellular membranes. Over time, a buildup of free radicals can accelerate aging and raise risk of developing cancer and other potentially serious diseases. Now, let us look into the chemical structure of catechin and how they differ from other flavonoids. See, this is the basic flavonol structure. Catechins, they differ from other flavonoids in structure as follows. There is no double bond between position 2 and 3 of the C ring. At position 4, there is no keto group. At position 3, they have a hydroxyl group and therefore they are called flavin 3-ols. Last one, a special feature of flavin 3-ols is the ability to form oligomers, that is 2 to 10 units, or polymers which has 11 or more units and up to 60 units, and they are called proanthocyanidins or condensed tannins. Next, can you tell me some food sources which are rich in catechins? The best sources is green tea and the fermented black tea. Now let us learn about the green tea and the fermented tea. The green tea, the most popular beverage in the world is tea. Green tea differs from black tea by the minimal fermentation of the tea leaves during processing. Green tea is a very good source of flavonoids. The flavonoids like catechins, epicatechin, monomeric flavonols and epigallocatechin gallate or the EGCG are present in tea leaves. The EGCG is the prominent catechin present in green tea, and due to this factor, green tea has a beneficial role in the reduction of vascular inflammation and blood pressure. Next one, the black tea or the fermented tea. This has fewer monomeric flavonoids due to the oxidation during fermentation of tea leaves to more complex polyphenols like the flavins. This is present only in tea, and in brewed tea their concentration is between 50 to 100 folds lesser when compared to tea leaves. Epicachins are stable to heat in acidic environment. Next good source is cocoa. Now we shall learn about the polyphenolic compounds present in cocoa. Cocoa has the highest content of polyphenols and flavonols per serving, a concentration greater than those found in green tea and red wine. Cocoa is a good source of catechins as like cocoa derived products, chocolate. The amount of catechins in chocolate depends on its concentration of cocoa. For example, if we take 100 grams of dark chocolate, it provides about 50 milligrams of catechins, while a similar amount of milk chocolate contains only about 8 milligrams. University of California suggests that consuming chocolate or cocoa may benefit cardiovascular system and improve health in general, and flavonoids such as catechins in chocolate may be protective against coronary heart disease and stroke. But still, larger trials are needed to prove these effects in humans. Next, we will see the presence of catechins in fruits, vegetables and legumes. Even fruits like blackberries and the skin of apples, blueberries are good sources. Catechins are present in the skin of apples, blueberries, grapes, red wine and beer, peanuts and vegetables. The flavonols are present in the peels or seeds of fruits and vegetables, but these parts are usually discarded during processing or while we eat. Also, catechins are not glycosylated in foods in contrast to other flavonoids. The following table presents the food sources of catechins. Please look into the table presented here, which presents the catechin content of some common foods. So, students, till now we have learnt about the sources of catechins. Next, we shall discuss about the beneficial effects of consuming catechins. Catechin consumption has many beneficial effects like increased plasma antioxidant activity, that is nothing but ability of plasma to scavenge free radicals, brachial artery dilation or the blood expansion, fat oxidation and resistance of LDL to oxidation. From the table, it is evident that red wine, chocolate and tea are all good sources of catechins. Other polyphenolic compounds also present in them, and studies have proved the relationship between consumption of red wine and susceptibility to chronic diseases like lung and prostate cancer and cardiovascular diseases. Catechins present in red wine has a major role in controlling the cardiovascular diseases, lung and prostate cancer. Now, let us look at the beneficial effects of consuming the red wine. It is as follows. First, we will see the beneficial effect of red wine consumption in cardiovascular diseases. Red wine is associated with a reduction in endothelin 1, a molecule involved in blood pressure regulation, a reduction in myocardial ischemic injury, increased HDL levels and decreased platelet aggregation, increased fibrinolysis and antioxidant activity is increased due to the consumption of red wine. Next, lung cancer and red wine consumption. Red wine consumption is associated with a reduced risk of lung cancer in comparison to those who did not consume any red wine. And for prostate cancer, the research was done among middle-aged men, and a 6% decrease in risk of prostate cancer has been observed for every glass of red wine consumed per week. Next, we will understand the benefits of consuming chocolate or cocoa. Epidemiological research of elderly men suggests that consumption of cocoa containing foods is associated with a reduced risk of mortality due to cardiovascular disease and all other diseases. Cardiovascular disease. Consuming cocoa or chocolate has a variety of benefits for cardiovascular disease because it reduces the LDL oxidation, platelet aggregation, increased antioxidant capacity and decreased oxidative stress, increased HDL concentration, improved endothelial function, lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure, and improved insulin sensitivity. Further, in a recent research, consuming approximately 30 calories of dark chocolate per day for 18 weeks was associated with a decrease in blood pressure. So students, after understanding the benefits of catechins in cocoa and red wine, we will now discuss the benefits of catechins present in tea. Asians are consuming tea for more than 1000 years, and it is proved to have numerous beneficial effects on general health. Research has investigated the relationship between tea and cardiovascular disease, cancer, weight management, diabetes, and bone density. Cardiovascular disease. Consumption of tea has a beneficial effect on cardiovascular disease. This tea consumption is inversely associated with myocardial infarction. Green or black tea flavonoids have been found to have vasculoprotective, antioxidative, antithrombogenic, anti-inflammatory, and lipid-lowering properties, which may be responsible for the reduced risk of cardiovascular diseases. The effect on cancer. Consumption of green tea has been associated with a reduced risk of skin, esophagus, stomach, colon, pancreas, lung, bladder, prostate, and breast cancer in experimental models, but the results from human research do not currently support the findings from these animal studies. Though experiments is being carried out about tea consumption and weight management and type 2 diabetes, there is no significant relationship between tea consumption and the risk of chronic diseases. Students, so far we were learning about catechins, and next we are going to learn about caffeine, another polyphenolic compound which is also a central nervous system stimulant. Caffeine is the world's most widely consumed psychoactive drug and is a central nervous system stimulant. Unlike many other psychoactive substances, it is legal and unregulated in nearly all parts of the world. Caffeine is a bitter alkaloid that is closely related chemically to the adenine and guanine contained in deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. Caffeine is present naturally in beverages like tea, coffee, colas, and chocolates. Students, do you know where it is commonly grown and the name of the common source which each every individual relish? Do you know what it is? Yes, it is the coffee bean which is very rich in caffeine. Now we will see what are all the other caffeine sources and where they are cultivated. The caffeine rich sources, they are present in South America and East Asian native plant seeds, nuts or leaves. They are the most common source of coffee is the coffee bean, the seed of coffee plants. Beverages containing caffeine are ingested to relieve or prevent drowsiness and to improve performance. To make beverages, caffeine is extracted by steeping the plant product in water by a process called infusion. Caffeine containing beverages are very popular and 90% of North American adults consumed caffeine daily in the year 2005. Next, we shall learn about the physical and chemical properties of caffeine. Pure anhydrous caffeine is a white odorless powder with a melting point of 235 to 238 degree centigrade. Caffeine is moderately soluble in water at room temperature, that is only 2 gram per 100 ml will dissolve, but very soluble in boiling water, that is 66 gram is soluble in 100 ml of water. It is also moderately soluble in ethanol, that is only 1.5 gram is soluble in 100 ml of ethanol. Caffeine does not contain any stereogenic centers and is classified as an achiral molecule. Now look into the structure of caffeine. See, this is the structure of caffeine. Now let us discuss about the natural sources of caffeine and about the products which contain caffeine. First, the natural sources. More than 60 plant species are known to contain caffeine. Among these common sources are the bean or the seed of the coffee plant, and the quantity varies, but 1.3% is the typical value in the leaves of the tea bush and in cola nuts. Temperate climates around the world have produced unrelated caffeine containing plants. Caffeine in plants act as a natural pesticide. It can paralyze and kill predator insects feeding on the plant. Coffee seedlings have high caffeine levels when they are developing foliage. The soil surrounding the coffee seedlings have high caffeine levels which inhibits seed germination of nearby coffee seedlings. Next, the other caffeine containing products. They are the coffee, tea, soft drinks, energy drinks, other beverages, chocolates, caffeine tablets and other oral products. I think you know that coffee bean is the best source of caffeine from which our coffee is brewed. We will see about the coffee and the caffeine. The world's best source of caffeine is the coffee bean from which coffee is brewed. The content of caffeine present in coffee varies on the type of coffee bean and also the preparation method followed. Coffee beans in a single bush also shows variations in caffeine concentration. One serving of Arabica variety espresso coffee, that is 30 ml of this coffee, will provide 80 to 100 milligrams of caffeine, while the drip coffee provides approximately 100 to 125 milligrams for a cup or 120 ml. Arabica coffee variety contains half the caffeine content of the Robusto variety. Dark roasted coffee has slightly less caffeine than lighter roasted coffee because roasting process reduces the caffeine content. Students, we discussed the catechins are present in tea, and tea is not only a good source of catechins but it is also a good source of caffeine. The caffeine content in tea is higher than coffee by dry weight, but a serving has less caffeine as tea is brewed weakly than coffee. Also, caffeine content depends on the growing conditions, processing techniques and other factors. Small quantities of theobromine and little higher level of theophylline is present in tea when compared with coffee. Processing method has a significant effect on tea and color does not indicate caffeine content. The following table gives the caffeine content of some beverages. Caffeine is a common ingredient of soft drinks like cola, which is originally prepared from cola nuts. Soft drinks contain 0 to 55 milligrams of caffeine per 12 ounce serving. Energy drinks like Red Bull has 80 milligrams of caffeine per serving. The caffeine in these drinks originates from the ingredients used or is an additive derived from the product of decaffeination or from chemical synthesis. The prime ingredient of energy drinks, the guarana, contains large amounts of caffeine with small amounts of theobromine and theophylline in a naturally occurring slow release excipient. Next we will see about the caffeine present in chocolates. Chocolate processed from cocoa beans has a small amount of caffeine. The weak stimulant effect of chocolate is due to the combination of theobromine and theophylline along with caffeine. Milk chocolate bar weighing 28 grams has caffeine content equal to that of a cup of decaffeinated coffee. By weight, dark chocolate has 1 or 2 times more caffeine than coffee, that is 80 to 160 milligram per 100 gram. As caffeine is a central nervous stimulant, it is available in the tablet form also. Tablets which are available in known dosage has advantage over coffee and tea. Caffeine tablet manufacturers claim that using pharmaceutical quality caffeine improves mental alertness, and they are used by students preparing for exam and also by people who work or drive for long hours. Students, next we are going to learn about the benefits of caffeine, which has both positive and negative health effects. Intake of caffeine has both positive and negative health effects. It is used to treat bronchopulmonary dysplasia of prematurity and to prevent apnea of prematurity. It provides a modest protective effect against some diseases like Parkinson's disease and some types of cancer. Consuming 3 to 5 cups of non-decaffeinated coffee per day resulted in reduced cardiovascular diseases like coronary artery disease and stroke, but it is more with over 5 cups per day. Caffeine produces a mild form of drug dependence associated with withdrawal symptoms such as sleepiness, headache, and irritability when an individual stops using caffeine after repeated daily intake. Caffeine is classified by the Food and Drug Administration as generally recognized as safe. Over 10 grams per day for an adult is considered as toxic, as much higher than typical dose of under 500 milligrams per day. A cup of coffee contains 80 to 175 milligram of caffeine depending on what bean is used and how it is prepared. Thus, it requires 50 to 100 ordinary cups of coffee to reach a lethal dose. But dietary supplement is available in the pure powdered caffeine form, and this can be lethal if consumed in over amounts. Now, let us look into the benefits of caffeine. Caffeine is used for medical purposes for both prevention and treatment of bronchopulmonary dysplasia in premature infants. It improves weight gain during the therapy and reduces the incidence of cerebral palsy as well as reduce language and cognitive delay. Caffeine enhances the performance of various activity. For example, as it functions as a central nervous system stimulant and metabolic stimulant, it is used to reduce physical fatigue, to prevent or treat drowsiness. It produces increased wakefulness, focus, improved thought processing, and better general body coordination. The amount of caffeine required to bring out these effects varies in individuals depending on body size and degree of tolerance. Desired effects begin approximately 1 hour after consumption, and a moderate dose usually subsides in about 3 or 4 hours. Caffeine delays or prevents sleep, but this is not the same for all the people. The performance of an individual increase even after sleep deprivation, for example, for those who work in shifts. In sports persons or athletes, a mild to moderate dose of caffeine improves stamina, enables endurance and team sports performance. Caffeine is a mild cognition enhancer as it has an effect on wakefulness, concentration and mood. At normal doses, caffeine improves in memory, in learning and sleep deprived activities. It exhibits both beneficial and harmful effects on the working memory depending on the nature of the task. Here, the picture depicts the effect of moderate consumption of caffeine. Caffeine consumption during pregnancy does not increase the risk of congenital malformations, miscarriage or growth retardations even when consumed in moderate to high amounts, but there is less evidence to this. To summarize in a nutshell, we will see the side effects of caffeine. Intake of 500 to 600 mg caffeine per day produce the following side effects: increased blood pressure and heart rate, ulcers, problems with esophagus, anxiety, insomnia, tension, dehydration, emotional fatigue, and consumption of 100 mg of caffeine will cause loss of 6 mg of calcium from bone, which weakens bones over time. Now to conclude, we learned that caffeine is a central nervous system stimulant found naturally in foods and beverages like coffee, tea and energy drinks. It is used to restore mental alertness or wakefulness during fatigue or drowsiness. Sometimes drug interactions also may occur with caffeine, and there are some side effects when it is consumed over dosage.